November 221 Charlie Delta, clear direct Savannah.
Direct Savannah for 1 Charlie Delta.
On this episode of Fly JFY, we begin our long journey from Sun and Fun in Lakeland, Florida, back to Laconia, New Hampshire. On this first leg, as we make our way to Savannah, Georgia, the weather lifts and we decide to push for the halfway point, Northeast Regional Airport in Edenton, North Carolina. Join us on this flight for a tour of the cockpit and an approach into this really cool airport.
All right, look at the weather appears to have really lifted.
We'd like to practice and are
still pretty low in a couple of areas here, but Savannah's lifted to 25,000.
Traffic, 12 o'clock, high, 3 miles.
Approach 1 Charlie Delta as the traffic.
November 1 Charlie Delta, roger, contact approach 118.17, 1817.
1817, 1 Charlie Delta. Approach Cirrus 221 Charlie Delta, level 6,000 smooth.
Cirrus 221 Charlie Delta, Jack approach, roger, Gainesville altimeter is 3023.
3023, 1 Charlie Delta. Nice flying right now. Beautiful flying, huh?
Oh, yeah. Like butter.
Alright, so how far out are we from Savannah?
Phoenix Air 34, contact Daytona approach 118.85.
167 miles. Check the latest TAF. 11 to 3 p.m. is broken 3500.
Look to bed for Savannah.
Looks great, yeah. Looks terrific.
Yeah.
All right, stop the cameras because we're not doing anything right now.
Why waste all that tape?
Tape, yeah, exactly. All right, guys, we're level at 9,000 and we're rolling again. We are currently, the radio's like pretty busy today. We're currently 150 nautical miles southwest of Echo Yankee Foxtrot, which is called the Curtis L. Brown Jr. Field. We had almost full fuel, minus maybe 45 minutes of flight, leaving Lakeland. And it didn't make sense just to stop. We want to split the trip with one single stop rather than two if we can help it. We want to get back tonight before too late. We're between a scattered, that's more like few above us, maybe at 10,000. And then we got maybe an overcast right below us. Maybe 5,000 to 6,000 below us. Looks like a broken up ahead. We're cruising on autopilot. Everything's going great so far. Oil pressure's good, oil temp is good. Our cylinder head temp is good. We can confirm that over here. We're 300, 320, 300, 280, 320, 280. That's very, very low. Our EGTs are right where we want them. 1460, 30, 90, 40, 10. 1450, and we are flying lean of peak by just about 50 lean of peak. I'll lean that out just a little bit more. I'm going to bring this camera over here for a second so you can see what's going on. Hope you guys can see that. Got my GoPro remote right here. That allows me to turn on all of the cameras at once. Here's my fuel selector valve. For those of you who are unfamiliar with this cockpit layout. Left and right fuel gauges. We're currently carrying half a tank in the left and just over half a tank in the right. Our mixture, we're on extreme lean right now. And our fuel pump right here, it's off. Our power and throttle lever. This is my SensorCon industrial real-time carbon monoxide detector. Very important to get a real-time carbon monoxide detector. This is the flaps here. This airplane has two positions, up, takeoff, and landing. That doesn't mean you can't take off with your flaps up. No flap takeoff doesn't mean you can't land with no flaps. It also doesn't mean that you can't land with any combination. That's a pilot's discretion issue. Obviously the POH, you got to follow the POH, but use your discretion. There's the autopilot right here. We're currently engaged in nav mode, which is talking to our GTN 650 up here. And we're in GPSS steering. which is flying the flight plan that we've inputted. I'm going to show you something pretty cool in a second. We're on altitude hold. Altitude hold is reading the altitude bug right there. And this is our Garmin 430, which is our COM2 nav2. And I have the same flight plan programmed in there. Simply as a backup, I can always play with it on the fly if I need to. It's also handy to have this as a nearest airport reference. Turn the big round dial all the way to the right, and it gives you where you are in reference to the nearest airport. So in this case, if we wanted to go to Sierra Charlie 42, we would fly a heading of 115. So we're southwest of Sierra Charlie 42 by 10.9 miles. So if ATC asks us what our position is, it's easy enough to find it. We go up here to this GTN 650, which is the touchscreen, more modern version of the Garmin 430. And in that is my Flightstream 510. It's the most expensive little data card you ever bought. But it's cool. It does some really awesome stuff. It has a Wi-Fi and a Bluetooth chip built into it. And what it allows me to do is connect my electronic flight bag to the panel, and I can send flight plans over to this device, which then pumps it into the Garmin G500, which is really nice. And it allows me to load routes from this device back onto my iPad. So let's say hypothetically air traffic control gave us an amended route. They'd say, 221 Charlie Delta, I've got an amended route for you, stand by, advise when ready to copy. Okay, ready to copy 221 Charlie Delta. So rather than type it into here, what I would do is I'd come up here to flight plan. I'm using Garmin Pilot, really moving in that direction and liking it a lot. And what I do is I would type in my waypoints right here, and then I would push this little button here, and I would say send to. When I hit send to, it sends it to the panel. So why don't we just try it real quick? Let's just do it for fun. Let's go before KEYF, insert before, we'll say, gosh, I don't even know what a good waypoint would be. Let's back up. So down here, we're just going to do this for fun. We're not going to activate it. Let's say we wanted to go to Berkeley County Airport, Mike Kilo Sierra. So we'd go here, insert before, KMKS. Then we go like that. It inserts it before. Then I can say send to. I don't know if you can see this over here.
Julia, contact Jacksonville Center.
It says message, then it says flight plan import, and it'll show me new flight plan. Say, what do you want to do with it? Do you want to store it, or do you want to activate it? Well, I don't want to do either. So I'm just going to...
16, contact Charleston approach 119.3.
I'm just going to delete it, frankly. That's gone. And just to make sure, we are still direct KEYF. So that's a really cool feature. Above that in the stack, I have the PMA, the PMA 8000 BT made by PS Engineering. It's a really nice audio panel. Above that is the old vintage RNAV, ARNAV ICDS 2000. It's totally functional. If you don't mind looking at something that resembles your Nintendo or your Atari, probably more like the Atari, that's fine. But you know, it's a very feature-rich, functional device. It's just not a whole lot to look at. It's got...
221 Charlie Delta, contact Charleston approach 119.3, good day.
19.3, 1 Charlie Delta. Approach 221 Charlie Delta, level 9000.
Number 221 Charlie Delta, Charleston approach, Charleston altimeter 3021.
3021, 1 Charlie Delta. So we set it here in our standby. We hit Barrow, we set it in our primary flight display. And we'll go back over here to the RNAV ICDS 2000. So it's got real-time measure of volts, 27.9. It's got the outside air temp, which is 49 degrees in Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is. What do you think that is, Scott?
1 o'clock, 10 miles out.
Fuel remaining? Oh, yeah, it's fuel remaining. That's not accurate. I didn't zero the fuel last time, so
2.2 gallons.
we don't have 2.2 gallons remaining. Don't worry, guys. Above that, we have all 6 EGTs, first to peak here, and we're flying at 50 lean of peak. Right at the top of that right there is 25, that's 50. You can see there's very even fuel distribution here on this engine. Very happy with it so far. And our CHTs are very low. And then we have a digital readout of our oil temp, oil pressures, RPM, manifold pressure, and fuel flow. Then we can switch modes to this beautiful map here. Isn't that gorgeous?
5177, and we're passing 1,800 for 4,000.
Southwest 5177, Charleston departure, radar contact, climb and maintain 6,000.
But this is tied in with a strike finder and all sorts of other stuff, so, you know,
That's not bad.
no, this isn't terrible. I mean, this is
10,000 American 90.
a whole lot more than we had when I learned to fly. I mean, there wasn't anything, any instrument in that airplane that wasn't round.
Better than what I got.
Oh, you got a 430 in yours.
Yeah, but I can see that.
You clear to Foxtrot 45 airport via direct Basso, Bravo,
So we
Alpha.
add this little stack of information here. You can see we're flying at only 62% power. Oil pressure's good. Our oil temp's good. Oil pressure's good. Fuel flow. How many miles per hour we're getting? How much fuel we have remaining? Destination. Required fuel is 9. Well, thankfully we are doing okay on fuel.
Contact Jacksonville Center 134.37, 3437.
It has this EGT screen, which is kind of cool.
AC 4463 to center.
And then back to that. No big deal. Over here we have the round dials with the amps, the volts, the oil pressure, oil temp, fuel flow, manifold pressure, CHTs, EGTs, and RPM. Unfortunately, one thing I'm not impressed with Cirrus is the prop is tied to the power lever, and I don't like that at all. But
4 X-ray Zulu,
whatever.
Basso,
Not going to change it.
Tango Alpha Romeo Yankee.
And then here we have our
437
multifunction display here on our Garmin G500. We turn the big knob all the way over, and we turn the small knob all the way over. We're on map 1. Small knob over 1 is map 2.
4 X-ray Zulu, read back correct.
We have traffic.
They might be able to give you a shortcut as you get closer.
And then we have terrain mode.
It's the last day though, so I would imagine most of the traffic's leaving.
I like it on this setting here. We go over to weather screen.
Good afternoon, that's a 3026 Bravo.
This is our ADSB weather.
Number 3026 Bravo, Charleston approach, Charleston number 30.
You can see this cell here is offshore. We were all but positive that this cell was going to be a real problem for us, but hey, everything looks really good so far.
Cirrus 1 Charlie Delta traffic, 3 o'clock, 5 miles northeast bound, 737, 6,000 for 8,000.
1 Charlie Delta negative contact looking. Yeah, we'll shine this camera out there for you guys. Take a look.
AC 4463, turn left heading 240.
Left 240 is 4463.
So let's just for fun switch it back over here to traffic mode.
Charlie Delta, traffic in sight.
So there's our traffic screen, there's our terrain screen, there's our weather screen. And so that's weather 1. There's another weather screen where you can set them up differently for different ranges. You can put different things on there. You don't want it to be too cluttered up. So this is a really nice traffic representation here. And when we zoom in here, I mean, number 1, guys, we can't rely on ADSB or NextRad because of its delay factor. It is a problem, and you know, it's stuff that we've known, but we always need to remember not to get too excited about having onboard NextRad weather.
10,000 traffic, no
handy. It's a great advisory, but it is not real time.
1 Charlie Delta traffic, no factor.
Hey, Roger, 1 Charlie Delta.
What do you say?
Traffic no factor.
That's really cool though.
Beautiful. Alright, so we'll go to the next screen here, and then we see how I have the weather set up here.
26 areas.
Basically METARs and SIGMETs, AirMets. You can see all the different things I have on the screen. Lots of stuff. It's too cluttery. I don't really use that screen. Guys, I don't know if you can see on the camera here, but that 737?
Yeah.
That 73 is 12 o'clock, 700 feet ahead of us.
Southwest Airlines, yeah.
Really cool.
5177.
He just crossed us.
United 1168 traffic, 11 o'clock.
Really cool stuff. So we'll move on here to the next screen here.
Roger that, United 1168, we're looking.
That's map 3, weather map 3. This one has distance rings on it. When we go over here, we have our arc mode with a strike finder, and that shows cells, as in cells of thunderstorms, build up. And it's handy to see that for obvious reasons. I have my strike finder set at 100 nautical mile radius, or range rather.
3021, 525,
You need to navigate or circumvent rather, a thunderstorm by at least 20 miles, and really it should be a more comfortable buffer than that. So we go over next to our auxiliary page, and this is where we can set up just settings and parameters for the G500 setup. You know, bright lit brightness here, what mode is it in? Obviously we're in bright daylight with sun shining, and this thing's in full brightness mode right now. The date, the time, the units, nautical miles and feet, and navigation angles and magnetic degrees, and pressures in inches of mercury versus millibars, and temp is in Celsius on here. This one's in degrees Fahrenheit. So, I mean, in flying world we use Celsius, but in human world we still use Fahrenheit. So it's handy to cross-check and just keep yourself, make sure that you're thinking
November 5, correction, November 25 Foxtrot,
in terms of the correct degree calibration.
10,000, 525 Foxtrot.
And unfortunately, our 5 to 10 knot tailwind has turned into a 2 knot headwind, unfortunately. Switch over to our next aux page.
United 1168, climb and maintain at 9,000.
At a 6 for 9.
And we have, you know, all of the FISB weather and various parameters there for traffic. And switch over to the next page. Tells you all about what databases are active. So for instance, you know, when they expire and so on and so forth. And we go back over to flight plan, and we have 3 pages here. The first page shows us what our flight plan looks like. Our next waypoint is KEYF. And we're 100 nautical miles out. Our estimated time en route is another 40 minutes.
Citation 25 Foxtrot, just going to maintain 9,000.
We can set our barrel minimums here. Then we go on to the inner ring here. Then it gives us what our identifier is, what the name of it is, where it is, what the bearing is, the distance, elevation of the field, its latitude and longitude, and then a little map of the airport. Now there's different pages here, it's kind of cool. So this is the info map. Then we have runway frequency, runways and frequency. We've got runway 1533. The length is 5,006 feet, the width is 75 feet, it's a hard surface. It's got the frequencies, AWAS, Unicom, departure, approach, so on and so forth. Then it's got the airport directory, which is really cool. And this comes right out of the AFD.
Number 221 Charlie Delta, contact Myrtle Beach approach 127.4.
Over to Myrtle 27.4. Approach Cirrus 221 Charlie Delta, level 9,000 smooth. Alright guys, our fuel timer just went off. So we go boost pump on.
We're planning on 5 the last.
We switch our tanks. We turn off the boost pump and we look up here to make sure we don't lose significant fuel flow. Comes where we want it. And then we hit clear, enter, down here on our fuel timer, and we're back reset. So there's the AFD, weather and NOTAMs here. The product is a METAR. And it gives you the ability to look at a TAF, but there is no TAF. Gives you NOTAMs. This is all piped in through ADSB. And then the last page over is what we're going to see on our chart page. And then we go click select. We go over here. Let's say we wanted the RNAV 15. We'd hit enter. It loads the chart. The approach plate.
Station 525 Foxtrot.
And then we can zoom in
3000
and move around just like that. I like it loaded in 2 places. So what I do,
we do have the weather.
I keep the plan view right here. And then on my iPad, I'll put the profile view. Approach Cirrus 221 Charlie Delta. Alright, we don't have a very good frequency here. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to switch back. Approach Cirrus 221 Charlie Delta.
Cirrus 221 Charlie Delta, Charleston.
Yeah, Charleston, can we get that last frequency? We're not getting anyone on the other, I don't know what you gave us.
221 Charlie Delta, Myrtle Beach approach 127.4, 27.4.
Yeah, we got nothing on that.
Let me give them a call and see if they were hearing me.
No, thanks. So guys, the correct procedure is to go back to the last frequency and check in with him. Okay guys, so let's talk a little bit more about this approach here. You see all these initial approach fixes, Ojgal and Elizabeth City here. Actually, Elizabeth City is not a good example because that's VOR. Ojgal, or the Cofield VOR, VORTAC. It says no procedure turn, no procedure turn, no procedure turn.